It is the great family tradition known as the Tipping Point with Mike Tipton on Fox Sports 1380. Thank you all so much for tuning in to the show, no matter what way you're doing that. If you're doing it on the airways of Fox Sports 1380 via the free and reliable iHeartRadio app or on one of our various streams, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. Thank you all so much for tuning in. The song is perfect. It is a family tradition. It's what we're doing here on the Tipping Point. Mike Tipton, Sports 1380. Got a lot of stuff we're going to talk about today. There are certain meetings going on, so we will find out about those as they go on. Hopefully it'll be something good for all of us, and we don't necessarily have to worry about it, but chances are it's not. I'm just going to be 100% honest with y'all. We'll see what happens here. And for the people that are out there saying, oh, just stick to sports. Yeah, that ain't going to happen. Not today. Want to give a shout out to Dana Morales, Nate Pineda, and Augustine Pimentel. I see that they have all tuned in via the one of the streams over here. I believe that's my watch party. I can finally watch my own watch party today. Thank you, Facebook, for allowing me that ability to watch my own watch party. Dana Morales saying she loves the shirt. Those of you that don't know, this is the Just the Tip 915 Whataburger style shirt. Get at your boy if you want to get one. I'll tell you that much. It's one of my favorite shirts that I got. We are going to keep an eye on that. That's why Andrew isn't necessarily on the stream as of yet. He is doing a fantastic job putting out little fires as we try to actually be a radio station here, giving out information as it happens to dozens of people at one time with literally 3 people.
We are waiting on that news conference from El Paso County Judge Ricardo Samaniego. It has not actually, the stream is up, but the news conference has not started yet. So I'm going to be monitoring that. I'll be making sure that Tip stays on air, but otherwise I'm going to be dealing with that here for just a minute. So I'll check in as appropriate.
Augustine asking, should Whataburger sue you for copyright infringement? Literally, probably not. It's not the same orange. It ain't the same white. It ain't the same font. It is literally nothing other than homage to Whataburger.
You should sue them for copyright infringement.
I should sue. I should. I'd be like, oh yeah, get this, Whataburger. Although it would be dumb if like they did come after me because what the hell would they get? Like literally, what the hell would they get? I am worth dozens of dollars that the country knows about. Dana Morales saying that she is hurt that you didn't read any of her messages on your show.
Okay, I do apologize for that. He didn't leave them on the mainstream. He left them on like the news radio page, so I didn't see him until afterwards. The best way to do that, I appreciate your comments. Facebook.com/TalkElPaso. That's the mainstream, but we share it to the other, affiliate pages there. But I do appreciate your comments.
The best part about all that, Dana, is that he said he literally didn't care one bit about any of your comments. He cannot defend himself because he's not on the stream, whereas you can actually hear him.
Oh, that is cruel, Tip.
He apologized. He did apologize. He said it was bad. It was his bad. If you wanted to get on his stream, you got to get on the watch party that he shares, kind of similar with what we're going on and dealing with here on my own show, The Tipping Point, my Tipton Fox Sports 1380. Augustine saying, just put your cell phone there. I don't know what that's in reference to. But once again, he goes and he does his own thing. Dana Morales saying that she does forgive you ultimately. So that's a good thing there. Once again, Andrew is monitoring the situation going on as El Paso is currently in its fight v. COVID. Who's going to win? Probably COVID. More than likely 100% COVID. But different story, different time. We'll get to all that stuff a little bit later. I wanted to, though, get to know the Dallas Cowboys' new quarterback, Ben DiNucci. Those of you that don't know who this guy is, he played at Pitt. I thought that he would have played in one of the bowl games. It turns out like he did play for Pitt whenever they did come down for one of those bowl games that they had here. However, he wasn't their quarterback. I think he was basically on the bench. He was just a part of the team, so we didn't get to watch him play. He then transferred afterwards and spent the rest of his collegiate career at James Madison, where he quickly rose to the top of the ranks of James Madison's statistical nonsense that they've got going on. I've been told I look like a whole meal, a value meal more than likely, at Whataburger. Once again, do not sue me. If you do, you'll probably get that into collections because I will not pay. And neither will Walter them either. Like that's the best part about it is I have zero back in here. Nobody is going to care about like what it is that I've got going on. Whataburger's going to sue me for all that I'm worth, and that's $5.50.72 or something like that. But Ben DiNucci, in his 2 years at James Madison University, was able to rise to the top, as the cream always does, of a lot of the all-time lists over at James Madison. He is tied for third all-time in completions at 479. He is fourth in passing, in total passing yards, 5,716. Fourth in passing touchdowns at 45. Sixth in actual attempts at 687. And then seventh in total offense, 6,718 yards. And has the distinction of this year becoming the seventh round quarterback to start an NFL game in the last 15 years. So congratulations to Ben DiNucci, the new Dallas Cowboys quarterback. Augustine Pimentel getting the joke. I love it. My God. But it got me thinking about, okay, well, James Madison, I saw that they had a bunch of guys, drafted to the NFL, and I wanted, or that played in the NFL, and I wanted to say, okay, well, I got to do my due diligence here and find out who these players were. I will give you the 10 players from James Madison that were actually drafted. The rest were undrafted free agents. But the 10 players from James Madison that actually went drafted. You have, in 1997, Macy Brooks, drafted by the Dallas Cowboys in the 4th round, played 0 games. Then, in 1984, you had, through the supplemental draft in the 5th round, or the 55th round. I didn't know the NFL had 55 rounds back then. What the hell, man? So that guy never played, whoever the hell he is. Gary Clark didn't play. Most recently, you have Ben DiNucci, who is the 7th round pick, is actually going to get that one game under his belt. That right there, ladies and gentlemen, are the type of people that you get. I'm not going to go over all 10 names. That's just a waste of my time. That is who Ben DiNucci has all of his audience with. That is who Ben DiNucci came up around. Those are the great athletes right there. So if you are a Dallas Cowboys fan, you've got to feel good right now with who your quarterback is. Because Dak Prescott, savior of all that is Dallas, simply told Ben DiNucci the most inspiring speech you can give somebody. Just do you. That was it. That's all Dak Prescott said to Ben DiNucci. If those words didn't make your bones quiver with just anticipation of being the next starting quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys, I don't know what will. But nonetheless, it is the new quarterback, Ben DiNucci, of the Dallas Cowboys. Andrew, has anything started here? I was in my mind thinking, because you did bring it up about the El Paso 15 when it comes to any of this.
Yeah, and that has held pretty true for all of this. And no, nothing has started just yet. We're monitoring that. The live stream is up, but they've got a really chill elevator music going on right now. So nothing else going on just yet.
That is fantastic. That thing's been up like an hour almost, hasn't it?
The countdown started around halfway through our show over on News Radio 690 KTSM. So it's been counting down. This one has been now live for ever since 4:50. So you're coming up on a half an hour now.
So that is so there we go. We're getting close to seeing what the hell it is that they're going to announce.
Yep, we'll see. And I will say that we are expecting some further shutdown announcement of some kind, just based on the county judge's previous statements that have come down and saying that more businesses need to be curtailed. What that'll actually look like, we can't say for sure until we hear from him again. It's supposed to be starting here soon. It still says press conference will begin soon, but as soon as that happens, we'll of course bring you the latest.
And we will keep people up to date here on the Tipping Point, my Tipping Fox Sports 1380, as we meander on and try to find out what's going on here. Once again, the main underlying point with everything that's going on that we are monitoring with the city of El Paso and the press conference that's coming up is the underlying fear, I guess, of an entire citywide shutdown. And that is more than likely what's going to happen. We have earned every bit of it. We definitely have another 1,000 case day today. 1,000 plus. I didn't even look at the number. I just know it was bad.
Yeah, 1,000 absolutely new cases, and we're right under like 1,500 once you factor in the delayed reporting cases from the state as well.
Oh, that's always a fun time. The delayed reporting cases. I like that.
The delayed reporting cases, they come from anywhere between now and like 4 weeks ago, but it kind of seems like a weird accounting trick to me, frankly.
So there it is. We'll be keeping our eyes on all that stuff. We will let everyone know as news breaks. Those of you that are listening on the radio, we will, and on the app and all that good stuff, we will cut into the press conference as it goes on as soon as something worthwhile is said, which more than likely with the way that it's going right now, the good half hour building up to it. I've always said this, and it's like the same whenever it comes to like replays and stuff like that in sports. The longer it takes, the worse it is for your team. And that's what it feels like it's going to be for the city of El Paso. The longer this takes for it to actually get going, the worse it might be for the city of El Paso. So now I want to ask everyone out there, what is the fear as we get close to our break here? What is the fears that you have? Should the city actually lock down? Should the city not lock down? And how are y'all feeling about it? Because I'm sure there is a lot of anxiety, to say the least, to go around with this. So that's what we do on this show. We vent it all out on the tipping point of my tip in Fox Sports 1380.
Fox Sports 1380 traffic. Crews are working a pair of accidents around town. Gateway Boulevard southbound at Trans Mountain Road.
So Augustine thinks that we should shut down both cities.
Also, crews are working an accident at Paso Street.
Augustine's saying we should shut down both cities for at least 3 weeks.
If you see a problem, call us. Advise an intermittent injury lowers traffic tip back 535-130-130. Listen up.
Yeah. And I mean, that's going to be the smartest thing to do, man. Like, we had our chance to not act like a bunch of assholes, and we acted like a bunch of assholes. If you F up, you get the punishment. Like it's that simple.
Good old boy. There we go.
I'm good with it. I love that song, dude. Any time that I can get some good Hank Williams Jr. going, I am going to do it. You drink hard with Hank Williams Jr. I might be doing that whenever I get home today.
You could win a set of 18 DeWalt tools worth over $3,000.
Chris, I am monitoring the county judge newser and will update as soon as it's over. I appreciate that, Chris. You can check out all those updates on the El Paso Herald Post, the website that they have. Andrew gave a resounding thumbs up, believing he was on camera, but he wasn't. It was just for me. I appreciate that it was just for me. It was just for the tip this time, just for the tip. How often does that happen where you get it just for the tip? Augustine is saying that either I'm always an a-hole or he's always an a-hole.
Yes.
I agree with both. Yeah. But I own it, man. Like, I know. But it's like I said, I will never be dishonest, no matter how much it may hurt you or maybe myself. Oh, it's been a hell of a day for us, just so you all know that.
So right now, you can.
Did anyone buy Halloween costumes? Like, that's what I want to know. I did, because I went and I bought a Halloween costume because I'm going to wear it tomorrow on the show.
So don't stop.
I lost like a little bit there, and I'm starting to slowly gain it back because of like the whole not being able to do stuff. But I'm aging like a loaf of bread right now, man. I'm falling apart. Oh, look who decided to join.
How's it going, Tim?
It's going well. Should I shut the door so we don't get the echo? Or am I not loud today? Like, I feel like I'm not loud today.
I think we'll have to hear from the stream people on that, but I think I'll join in for now. While I got it in multiple different places in my eyesight of where this news conference is. I might not say much because I'm still monitoring, but it feels like it's still doing like hold music right now.
I wouldn't put it past them if this was like all they did, like the entire time. It was like a 5-hour nothing but hold music because we're waiting for the entire city to go to bed at 10 o'clock.
people are going to go nuts if they do that. Like people are expecting. I've heard people doing crazy speculation. None of this confirmed. I want to make that clear. Speculation about like the National Guard coming. Like people are going crazy out there. Oh wait, okay, we're live. Don't know about this.
Yeah. It is the tipping point with my Tipton Fox Sports 1380. We're a couple of good old boys here having ourselves a good old time as we try to figure out what nonsense is going to be going on here in the city of El Paso. Nate Padilla saying, what time is the news conference? The news conference was supposed to begin at 5 o'clock. Well, technically 1 o'clock. It got postponed to 5 o'clock. And here it is, 5:21. And I believe has it started, Andrew? I'm assuming it has because he's nice and quiet. So maybe it has finally started, and we'll find out what the hell is going on here. Augustine saying that he can actually tell us what Judge Simon Yeagle is going to say. Augustine, please enlighten us, my friend. I think we are all awaiting to hear what it is that the judge is going to say, as we are all basically, on the edge of our seats right now trying to figure out what's going on. Our guy, Mike Rivera, just walked in looking extremely concerned. Are you concerned, Mike Rivera? You seem concerned.
Well, let's see what happens here. Pretty much it should be live.
Okay, so we have a feed right now. Okay, so we're going to get to that. This is going to be the county judge. This is everything that's going on right now, so here you go.
Different hospitals, all of that would be exhausted if we continue. I know that every municipality supports community, and that's that we do take necessary steps. I also know there's a good amount of individuals that might not understand, might not be supportive. But I hope that after we have this discussion.
Right now, Augustine, it's just a bunch of words.
If we don't have a united front, El Paso has always been a role model. We handle the refugees in an incredible and kind and generous.
Sounds like he's about to drop a deuce. A big one.
Yep.
The beginning of the pandemic, that was extremely well done. And now
Agree, Boo. I agree.
Because of the numbers and how high they are. And I think that's an unfair assessment of our situation. I think there's more dynamics that need to be considered. And so we're hoping that we can come together as a united way. That's the only possible way. I'd like to add that when we focus strictly on public health and try to minimize the economy, that in essence was a reason that we were able to begin to open the economy. And I don't want anyone to forget that we took measures that slowed down the economy and allowed public health to intervene. And that's when the economy started to open. And so what I'm doing now is not anything that has not been tried, but things that have worked not only for our community, but other communities as well. So based upon the advice and recommendations of medical professionals like hospital administrators, effective at midnight tonight, I'm ordering a shutdown of all non-essential services for a 2-week period. Since the inception of this pandemic, El Paso County has never seen this level of infections through our communities. Our hospitals are at capacity. Our medical professionals are overwhelmed, and we don't respond when we see unprecedented levels of deaths. We also know that a tremendous amount of healthcare workers have been infected by the virus and are unable to be working in these areas that are so critical to us. For context, El Paso is currently on stage 1 on the COVID-19 community scoreboard as of today. There are 14,359 active COVID cases in El Paso County. As of today, El Paso's COVID-19 hospitalization rate is 44%. This is 365.2 increase from the beginning of the month. During this week, the stay home order, we were able to slow the spread of COVID-19 to relieve the strain on our medical resources. As you know, the curfew was one of the first steps to reduce mobility, and everyone needs to understand that when we say that we're fed to capacity, that also includes the non-COVID patients that arrive at our hospital for emergency. And there is a little bit of confusion that our capacity has to do strictly with COVID patients. But if today you're in a car accident and you go to the hospital, you will be under that same constraints of not having the appropriate space and the care that you would have in any other situation. We need to build capacity for our hospitals, build capacity to shore up contact tracing, identify hotspots and clusters locally, address their problems. One of the most important things that I had to consider and wanted to make sure that everything possible, and I want to convey this as strongly as I can, and that is that election activities are essential services and not affected by this rule. Election activities shall be considered an essential function, and under no circumstances does this order affect the voting or campaigning for candidates on the November 3rd, 2020 ballot. That is so important, such a constitutional right. We've done everything possible. Election activities shall continue to follow public health authority orders and guidelines relating to election activities. The public should be assured that election activities are safe and significant steps have been taken to provide a sanitary environment as well as follow all appropriate social distancing coverings and so forth. All polling sites shall remain open to continue election activities. I cannot stress enough that we have done everything possible. When we thought of delaying the situation, our medical health care professionals insisted that every day that we do not move forward with stricter measures, that's more of a burden that will be placed on the hospitals. All businesses that are non-essential must close. Tattoo parlors, hair salons, nail salons, gyms, massage businesses, in-person dining. All essential business remain open. Polling sites, schools that provide meal services, child care, and grocery stores will be open. Funeral services, all healthcare offices and facilities, pharmacies, government operations, post offices, retail to-go services, and others listed in the order. I recognize the financial impact that this will have on some of the community, and I am committed as a judge to do everything possible, whether we're doing it through the county, whether we're doing it through partnerships, in my relationships with the Hispanic Chamber, the Greater Chamber. They are showing support for the recovery as soon as we're able to do so. The county has committed funds to assist individuals and businesses in various programs. There has to be ways that we can not only restrict, but that we can help you. And we're very cognizant of that. I'm also very cognizant and respectful of the governor's orders. The hard truth is that the people who are dying are El Pasoans. They are not in Austin, and I have the responsibility to do everything I can to protect El Pasoans. Furthermore, during Governor Abbott's visit here in El Paso, and as a governor, he stated, and I want to clarify, local officials do have levels of flexibility to make sure they're able to contain the spread of COVID-19. I am hopeful that the government will recognize that this is a short-term remedy needed to contain the spread of COVID-19. I call on every single El Paso to stay home unless you are working in an essential job or accessing essential services, including exercising your right to vote. Practice social distancing if you must leave, and wear a mask to protect yourself and others. Our beacon should always be the health and recovery of our very deserving community.
Okay.
If it comes to a break, I'll send it, man. Don't worry about it.
Before we get all of the efforts, it really won't matter if we don't stay united to eradicate this invisible enemy. Let's all help our community fight the virus, not ourselves. And may the needs and requirements of our healthcare professionals be better understood by our economically minded business people.
Yeah.
The most encouraging and insightful conversations I have encountered during these last few days are with individuals that fully appreciate and understand the importance of immediately addressing our public health crisis we find ourselves in, and the need to simultaneously focus on the timely and thoughtful steps that are required to safely open the economy. We have seen throughout history that drastic times require drastic measures. I know that our families that have lost loved ones, those in the ICU and ventilators at this very moment, would have wanted these drastic measures that are so desperately needed to prevent further devastation. I'm asking every one of you to be able to place yourself in that situation of having to deal with COVID at this part in time, trying to get into a hospital that's saturated, trying to figure out how you're going to be able to see and be around the people that you love when they're in an emergency situation. So once again, I thank you. It has not been an easy task. I've got some incredible individuals on this call today. We've got CEOs from hospitals, we've got medical professionals, and we've got individuals that have balance. And I'm very proud when I'm at any of these medical and health, they are very sensitive to the economy. They are also very sensitive that if we don't do the right thing, we are going to prolong this journey that has been so difficult, and we are going to prolong that. We also know that, and I encourage that one of the most of the peaks, when we talk about why we are at this point, some of the devastating peaks were at every holiday. We went to enormous increases in positive cases. So as a community, we do need to be accountable. We have Halloween coming up. We have Thanksgiving coming up. If we do not adhere to the orders, we're going to have that perfect storm that I have discussed so many times. We've got COVID numbers coming up. We've got influenza starting to hit our hospitals. We've got the holidays coming up. You can just imagine the responsibility that we all have as leaders that are sitting today in this forum to see what can we do so that we don't have that perfect storm that would devastate our community and much more devastate our economy if we get to those levels. I thank you. I appreciate every effort that you can make to work collaborative. We're not going to go through this if we are not collaborative in nature. And I hope that if you see the individuals, the delegation that has been supporting me throughout the process, and I've got Congresswoman Veronica Escobar will be speaking later as well today. I also want to thank Jacob Cintron for everything that he's done to anticipate. And I can tell you, anybody says we weren't prepared, these are months and months behind where we're preparing for this situation. But we weren't preparing for 14, we're preparing for 1,000. And so this is where we find ourselves. So once again, thank you for every leader, every individual in this community. that is thinking for the community, that is thoughtful about this community, and that is interested as much as we all are to get out of this journey and begin this progress and begin to be that El Paso that we all know, this region that is so powerful and a big part of economic impact that we have in the entire nation. Thank you.
So there you have it. That is the news coming out here starting midnight. It is all going to be a 2-week, basically stay at home shutdown order. We're up against the clock. We're going to take a break. We will react to that and maybe just maybe some sports or something of that nature. But the big news coming out today, the most important thing coming out today, at midnight, this takes effect, a 2-week citywide lockdown, something that has been effective in the past. Fox Sports 1380.
Staples helps businesses save on everything from office essentials to health essentials to packing and shipping. Right now, save 30% on select shipping supplies and 20% on UPS expedited services. It's their only offer ends 10/31.
So yeah, I got a couple of notes. What do you got? What do you want
I got a couple of notes too. We'll just talk about the impact on it and stuff like that. How it's worked in the past.
to? Okay.
The hospital thing is the one that mainly stuck out to me.
About the fact that we're at capacity, like there's nothing else.
Yeah.
We're out. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of a big deal.
Okay. Yeah, we can certainly talk about that. Yeah. Yes, that's I mean, we'll have, and also we can tell them that we'll do a full breakdown tomorrow on Talk El Paso.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can do how much? Do you want me doing music?
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
Okay. Any particular?
Something dark and dressy.
I'm about to
Just like I said, we'll try to lighten it up. We'll give it our own little spin. So it'll be.
God Bless Texas. Country song?
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay.
It's one of my favorites.
There you go.
Associated with Fords. What is it that you call it? A cluster muffin? So, what do you call it? A cluster muffin?
Sorry. What's that?
Said you call it a cluster muffin, right? Isn't that your thing that you call it?
I mean, the whole situation we're in is an absolute cluster muffin. The only thing I think that might be good out of this is that the city, they didn't just go ahead with their new conference and not in consideration of this.
Mhm.
They canceled theirs ahead of this, so there might be. There was a lot of daylight starting to show up between the city and the county on their response here. That might
They
might
be
not
on
be
the
close.
same page.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
I didn't think DeMarco was on this. It sounded like a lot of state officials. We got state and national. We got Escobar. This is one of our state reps. So we'll see.
Do you need me to send you another link or?
Thank you, Representative.
What a day. What a day.
University Medical Center, Jacob St. John.
We have individuals that are infected with the COVID-19 virus. Back in April, hospitalizations were 67. Today they're 937. The highest. We had back then in April 802 cases. Today, 45,039 cases. In April, we had 35 ICU beds dedicated to patients with COVID-19. Today is 236. Not the highest, but close to it. The highest is yesterday. We have a large number of patients on that. And I will tell you that I'm very proud of the health population. Our medical staff, our nurses, respiratory therapists, pharmacists, everyone is dedicated to making sure they take care of their patients. I will tell you that we met with other CEOs, we've all shared resources, ideas, support. I want to thank one of the officers, quarterback, and very corporation.
That didn't work out right.
It is Fox Sports 1380. And it is the tipping point of my tip in Fox Sports 1380. Got my guy Andrew J. Polk hanging out. We just went over a whole bunch of stuff that came down from our government officials, county officials, all that good stuff going on over there. There is now a lockdown order that takes effect midnight. All non-essential businesses, the hair salons, all that stuff, tattoo parlors, closed for at least 2 weeks. This order is 2 weeks. I believe a lot of us, the majority of us at least, who are thinking about this comprehensively, would say that the best way of doing this would be to try and get it like anywhere between 3 to 4 weeks. Like that. I think that's where the majority of us would be at with this.
I mean, I think that, okay, if we're talking just about dealing with the virus here, I mean, it's something that actually Chris Babcock, news partners of the El Paso Herald Post, has said to people, you need about 2 virus cycles, so about 2 weeks times 2, so about a month total of the shutdown to really make sure it's gone, because I mean, then you're dealing with the statistical outliers, with people who don't do what they're supposed to and go out and get it. That gets them a chance to, even the people who are going out and doing stupid things, to get over it, and the people who may not. I mean, the 2 weeks is kind of an average because we're still learning about this. It could take, some people are asymptomatic but still have it and could spread it for a week longer. And you start leveling off with those possibilities after 2 full cycles.
Nate Pinella commenting, all the El Paso females will have withdrawals from 2 weeks with no hair or nails done. I appreciate the joke there. Blanca saying, I love my community. I promise to do my part and all I can to help. All my love to you, El Paso. I think that's where we all need to be at this moment, saying, okay, we got to do our part. And I think we've all, we're selfish. Every single one of us are selfish, and we have our own thoughts and stuff. It's time to put that all aside. Dan Ornell is saying it's time to activate the OnlyFans. Mine's been up for a while. Mr. Tipton 33.
Subscribe.
Yeah, click the link in the bio, man. Augustine saying that he's just going to go around coughing on people. I am
going to hit you up.
I have a feeling like Augustine would be the one guy that's like just out, like I Am Legend. Everyone's going to be stuck at home, and he's just going to be Will Smith walking around, not looking anywhere near as good as Will Smith. Not the snack Will Smith is, but that would be Augustine just walking around.
And then I'm going to come up and Shaun of the Dead him.
I'm good with the Shaun of the Dead reference. Love that movie. Love Shaun of the Dead. But all jokes aside, like it is time for us to say, okay, we've got to do our part. Like literally the entire country is seeing a spike now, despite what some things may have been said recently at a certain rally type event. I'm not going to say what it was, but you all should know by now. These numbers are going up. We are seeing people die. Once again, family members are not getting to go and actually say goodbye to their family members. The one thing that really stood out to me, though, is that the hospitals being at capacity, because that's the thing that people need to not take lightly. These hospitals aren't just saying that COVID areas are at capacity. The entire thing is at capacity. Once again, this time last week, you heard me railing about how my father had a brain embolism. It took him 20 hours to get a room. 20 hours to just get a room. And because of that, he was out by Saturday, like Saturday afternoon. That to me, I don't feel good about that. I can't even go see him because of the stuff that we have to do where we're out going and seeing people and stuff like that. Hopefully those take a back seat. But those are the impacts. Like those are the things that people need to realize and focus in on. Is it's not just COVID-19 cases that are impacting hospitals.
It is absolutely not.
There are people who are going in with like their normal stuff that happens in normal life. Whenever you add all the stuff going on with COVID-19, then that's where you have the situation that we're in right now. And yes, every single one of us wants to go out and have a good time on Halloween. That's more than likely not going to happen. You shouldn't be doing that. If you do, I'm going to find you. I'll glue your elbows together. I'll put your head in a microwave. And I won't turn it on, but I'll put it in a microwave.
And all shot of the day. Yeah, it's not going to be a good plan this year. Again, if I had kids, we would not be trick or treating this year. Like, well, I'll make it up to them somehow else if I had them. But I cannot recommend it as a good idea this year.
Well, it's the same thing that I'm going to be doing. Like I did this last year because my kids were sick because of the flu and stuff last year. It was a hide and seek trick or treat inside the house. Luckily, I have a big enough yard now where I can actually employ the yard, and my kids aren't sick. So I will use the yard. I will do stuff like that. I went out, and hopefully Jericho's not listening right now. Jinder couldn't care less. But I bought like a fog machine and a bunch of stuff like that because my backyard is going to look nice. Like it is going to be legit, man. That's what we've got to do. I understand, once again, I am blessed. Andrew and I are blessed. Our jobs are not impacted by this. Somehow, some way, we are considered essential because of what it is that we do here, giving out information to the public. We are very lucky in that aspect. But you also have to put that selfishness aside and actually see what it is that you need to do, man. Because this ain't going away. Like once again, we were the epicenter of this. Our own little island where we're forgotten by literally everybody. 99.9% of the time, minus the stuff that we've been in the news for over the last year and a half. And none of it's good. One thing was good, and that was the way that we came together after August 3rd. Outside of that, it's been just an absolute nightmare for this city, man, and it's heartbreaking for me.
It has been. I think on the other show, we get a lot of different viewpoints, and some people are very vehemently opposed to things like this. But the thing I can say to everyone on this is do what's right for you and your family, because no one else, no one talking to anyone, not even me or Tiff, as much as we may love you, we're not going to take care of you the way you're going to take care of you. So, I mean, frankly, I think we should be in the situation of whatever the governor's doing should be what schools and businesses are able to do. And in the meantime, I think that there should be seeing government step up and say, okay, if your business had to shut down, here are ways that we will make sure you can support until you can become it back. I think that's just a smarter way we're going to get through this because, if all the businesses shut down, government's not going to have any revenue anyway, and things are just going to go, kaput.
And that's the main thing is like there now needs to be some sort of bipartisanship going on because what we're voting on right now don't feel very bipartisan. None of the stuff that we ever vote on, especially during like election season, none of it's ever bipartisan. That's how you know, like, I'm not going to get into that. That is a completely different thing. The two-party system's broken. I'm not going to talk about that in great detail, but I will say this. We all need to put everything aside and come together for the better good. Augustine's saying if you see trick-or-treaters, you got to call CPS. Well, I don't want to go that far, but kind of.
I'm just going to do a super soaker full with hand sanitizer.
Well, and I was thinking about this for like my house and for like my neighborhood and stuff. I wonder if I put candies in like little individual baggies and I just had like a thing of them out there and I left it up to like a whole, honor type system. Would people actually be able to go by that? Because I feel like you kind of have to now. Like I've always felt this way, and like more recently I felt like a dumbass for thinking about this, where I feel like most people are born inherently good.
I wouldn't disagree with you there, Tip, but
we need to get back to that, man, because right now we ain't nowhere near that. Ceci Barcetta saying, and please don't use Walmart as a hangout because everything else is closed. Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, she works at Walmart, and that right there, like that has to be a nightmare scenario for them because that's where everyone was going whenever this thing first started. Yep. Whenever we come back, more of this on Fox Sports 1380. Oh, dude. Why couldn't we just do our part? Like that's all it was. Just do your part. It would have been okay. Our own little island would have been all right.
I know. Well, I know people are going to make a lot of what's come out. It was a topic on our show today on Radio 690 on Talk Del Paso about the transportations coming across from Juarez. And a lot of people getting upset about that. And the thing is that our region is usually thought of as a regional health system. Like if there were mass casualty events happening near, it could be people brought over to Juarez. But that may not actually happen in practice, and I can understand the concern about that. But I think you'd find a mild revolt among the medical professionals if we said that no, that is impossible. We will not allow that to happen.
I want to know if there's anyone like actually watching this that is opposed to the measures, because like I said, I want this to be like an open forum where you can actually talk about stuff. And I didn't get to listen to your show, so I don't know what a lot of the pushback on it was. But I cannot think of any like person thinking in their right mind of what a negative of this could be outside of the financials of it. Like, yes, people are going to be impacted, but that's where our government needs to step in and actually do their part and have the people and their survival being the main thing, like the main focus of all this. Not all the other BS that goes around it, just simply that. Like that should be the focus of them. So I can't see what any pushback of this could be, because if there's people out there like, oh, my rights, shut the hell up.
I mean, I can understand this perspective on that. I'm saying, like, listen, you don't have the authority to do any of this. How dare you tell me what to be able to do with my life and my livelihood? But, I mean, the only real comparison I can make is to a wartime situation, in that we are being attacked by something that you can't just go out and shoot at. You have to deal with it in different ways, and it will take all of us doing it. And yes, I think that there should be a lot of questions being asked of some elected officials who have not been making things happen on the state or even the national level for the support there. I mean, if you look at other countries that have had effective responses, whatever you may think of them otherwise, you look at like what New Zealand did. They've been able to do full reopening. They have called some of their closures draconian, but they've also then supported their people, saying like, okay, if you've got businesses that shut down, send us your receipts, we'll fund them at certain levels, just and a certain stipend going to its own people. And again, the role of government is a whole other discussion to be had, but what we need to get through this, I think, is a lot more of that. I agree with you putting up there with Coda James Bachmeyer saying it's cultural. I understand some people may be raised that way and they think about that, but I think we need to look at what we can do to make it through this and make sure that, because, even if we keep businesses open, people are not taking into account consumer confidence. It's kind of like if you have all these patchwork orders, kind of like if you have a peeing section in the pool. Like, sure, you may argue like, oh, it's not going to be that bad for you. You'll be fine. You're not going to be affected by it. But if people are deciding that they don't want to be in that pool, it's going to be shut down anyway.
Yeah. Stephen Michael Puga said that it's way too late for a shutdown. He doesn't think that's going to work, sadly, just like the first time. I can't say that it didn't work the first time. Let me be clear. We didn't really have one the first time. There was limitations, basically mostly the restaurants, but it wasn't anywhere near this level. It just wasn't. Yeah. We had a little echo. I'm going to go deal with that real quick. Yeah. It is the tipping point by Tipping Fox Sports 1380. This is one of those days again where like an hour just simply ain't enough time, and that's like the saddest part about all this is that there's so much more that we can talk into, and I kind of just want to kick the odd couple in the air because I feel like it's an important thing, but I don't have that ability at this exact moment.
We do not, unfortunately.
We are joined by Mike Rivera here for what little bit of time we have left as we talk about and try to comprehend everything that's going on. A guy did bring up a decent point here. Stephen Michael Puga saying it's way too late for a shutdown, and he doesn't think that it's going to work, sadly, just like the first time. Andrew also said that we didn't really have an actual shutdown early on, and then Danny Molina saying, let me have just me, or have you guys noticed that there's been an increase in birria tacos advertising directly proportional to the current COVID spike? What's in those tacos?
What do you mean you only have an hour? I'm going to give you another one right now.
Are you?
Go ahead.
Okay.
Take the other hour.
Okay. Well, I think we're going to have to go in there, kill whatever's there.
We'll make some adjustments here to the clocks here. But yeah, go ahead and take that second hour because this is an important issue.
Okay. So we will be on a second hour? Are you gonna hang out with us as well?
I'll hang out. I got a couple things I got to finish over at the other side of the building, and then once I get that done, I'll come join you guys because this is important. Whether you agree or disagree with it, this is a sounding board here for you. We do live local radio here for this very reason, Tim.
Derek Smith saying, I'm glad they know what's quote unquote best for everyone. Basically saying that we don't give a crap about what you think. We're going to do what we want. Derek, I would love for you to expand on that. So please, if you want to comment here, if you want to call into the show, 915-544-KTSM, 915-544-5876. That's where you would get it right there as well. Dan Ornell saying, no, people are inherently selfish. Our instinct is to survive. Going back to a comment that I said earlier about most people being good. Did we have someone on the phone line, Andrew?
Well, Augustine just wanted to leave his comment that Juarez has already been doing this exact thing since last week because the situation is frankly much more severe south of the border right now. They've been out of space. They're trying to marshal more resources there, but that's part of the reason we've had to see people being brought over here to this side from that our news partners at CBS 4 and K-Fox 14 reporting on that yesterday, and again, I'm sure more today coming up about severe patients being brought over here to the El Paso systems, ambulances meeting them at the top of the bridge, basically.
So I basically volunteered you. Are you okay to stay for another extended period of time? Yeah.
I think we need to, definitely.
Okay. So the phone lines are open. Of course, we got the people chiming in on the various streams that we have as well. And that's what it's going to come down to is, okay, like, how are you feeling about this? How does this affect you personally? Blanca, someone who did have COVID earlier, comments on here, I don't need the luxuries. Health first. Love your body. Take care of it. Health is first. And I agree with that 100%. Like, I don't know what rights are necessarily being infringed upon here. Because if it was like your own individual right, like just one right being taken away for like one small subsect of people, you would cry foul. And a lot of people would do that. We see that issue going on right now with everything going on with surrounding BLM. Like, you have a small group of people, I guess you can't even say small, but you have a group of people who are being targeted at one certain thing, and they feel like a right is being taken away. However, they're being told to shut up. This is not something that's focusing in on a small group of people. It's everyone as a collective. And it's for, once again, the greater good. Our guy Derek Smith saying the irony of being a bigger border town in America is being shut down around election time. How many other cities in America are on lock like we are going to be here again? Well, once again, like, if you didn't get to listen to the whole thing, Judge Samaniego basically said you still have your right to go out and vote.
You can still vote. So nothing changes there. And we're going to give you a programming update here, folks. We're going to take a break here at the top of the hour for 2 minutes so we can go ahead and reset. But then, we'll go ahead and give you guys one more hour of the tipping point.
Cody James Bachmeyer asking what the number is, 915-544-KTSM, 915-544-5876. That is the number to call if you want to get in and kind of voice either A, your happiness with this, B, your indifference, C, your complete, utter hatred of what's going on right now. Danny Molina on the Facebook page saying, if we, El Paso is talking, Juarez patients can Las Cruces open their doors and help a brother out too. So like if we share the patients, can Las Cruces do that as well? I feel like that might have been an option that was up there, but I don't know how viable the Las Cruces hospitals are, because now we're airlifting people to Albuquerque.
Yeah, we're already shifting people out of town, usually to hospitals in other parts of Texas, because I don't think, part of the situation is for New Mexico as a whole, their major hospital centers are going to be Las Cruces and Albuquerque.
And Las Cruces, if you look at the level of trauma care that they offer there, both of those hospitals are levels 3 and 4. So anytime they get overwhelmed, the first thing they do is El Paso or Albuquerque.
Yeah, and that's like the main thing here is like you have to realize, like, part of that being on our island all by ourselves is the fact that we are on an island all by ourselves. How much time do we have before we get to the break? We have a minute.
You can take the break whenever you want. You can float it right now whenever you want.
Okay, so how about this? We'll get to this phone. Who's on the phone call, or who's on the phone right now?
James Bachmeyer on the phone right now.
All right, Cody. So real quick, what you got for us, my guy? I thank you very much for that phone call, Cody. And he hits the nail right on the head, man. Like we all want to go, we all want to hang around our families. That is something that's paramount here, especially that the way that we're brought up. Once again, being on that island over here, one of the most important things we have is our families and wanting to go out there and do all that good stuff. Whenever we come back, though, here on the tipping point of my Tipping Fox Sports 1380, another hour, bonus hour. Look at us. Thank you for that, by the way.
It's kind of nice when you can make the executive decision.
I know, right? Look at that.
This is important. This is important, and it's important. I mean, I had people calling me on K-Hey and I said, why aren't you playing music? Because this is more important.
I'm going to send you a link as well, so whenever you get in here, you can be on the camera. We can do our own.
Yeah, and Patty just sent a video to all of us, too, from the announcement, so we can post on whatever we need to post on.
Okay.
I'll take care of that shortly. Let me finish over K.
Stop waiting.
We're flying by the seat of our pants right now, everybody. It's the bonus hour that wasn't necessarily planned for.
Yeah, let me track ahead.
Do the intro as soon as you can walk out with me.
To find your nearest voting center.
Behind the scenes.
Get out there as soon as possible. And if you're voting in person, don't forget to.
I was about to say, that sounds like me asking people to go vote.
And I will say voting is considered an essential service, but if you haven't already voted early, that's been my advice this whole time anyway, is go vote early because that's the best way to deal with it. But stay safe, everyone. I mean, make your choices.
And that's like the main thing is like if you go out and vote, don't be a jerk. Thank you though, Cody, for the phone call. I see that you commented here thanking us. Thank you for that phone call. Puga saying I'm annoyed with how everyone two bottom handled this. I don't understand that. Everyone two bottom.
You know, I'm not seeing the comments just yet. I'm not set up to see if
Okay, my bad. Blanca saying, "Yay, another hour! So grateful for that. Y'all are awesome, important issues." I'm glad. I'm glad that Mike Rivera saw it that way, so that made me happy. Well, what'd you give me a 5 for?
We're coming back.
Oh, okay.
We don't have an intro, so I'm just gonna play some music.
Okay. So here we go. We're coming back. Aha. The bonus hour of the Tipping Point, my Tipping Fox Sports 1380. I am like way too excited about a bonus hour that came on with arguably the worst case scenario.
Yeah, this could have been better circumstances, but we're happy to be here.
I mean, we are happy to be here. Steven Mapuga clearing it up. He's annoyed with how everyone top to bottom handled this issue. I am not a smart guy. I have never once claimed it. I do also agree it has been super annoying, but and this has been a main issue as we have the bonus hour, the Tipping Point, my Tipping Fox Sports 1380, all that good nonsense. My main issue is whenever people want to go and blame like the mayor. Like the mayor is the end all be all and all that good stuff.
He is not.
I will ask you this, everybody out there who wants to blame, like point fingers at someone. If you got in a car accident because you were speeding, who's at fault? You are. Like there's a certain level of, looking that man in the mirror, looking that woman in the mirror and saying, yeah, you know what, I kind of effed up here. And that's really what it is, like what it's come down to here, as we're basically divided on like how a lot of this feels. Our guy Derek Smith saying, I know that you can go out and vote. He mentioned how ironic it is that right now we're on a lockdown whenever it comes to one of the most important votes of all time. Saying that I know that you can go out and vote, but how many people are basically scared out of their mind right now?
That we have seen a little bit of a slowdown of the early voting numbers. I mean, it happens naturally as we end up towards the end of early voting, and then election day sees a big jump. We've been seeing it slow down definitely since even the curfew order came down from El Paso County Judge Ricardo Samaniego. And I am very curious to see what will happen on election day. I know previously there were a lot of services being discussed, and in fact, I think that they're focusing now on if you have some reason why you can't make it to the polls and you're waiting for election day, or you just have not been able to at this point, and you are now is sick, and one of those people in the hospital for some reason, they're now putting out information about how to get an emergency ballot brought to you. So they are working to address that, but I wonder if it will be too little too late.
Once again, that phone number to call, 915-544-KTSM, 915-544-5876. He goes on to say, does Derek Smith, it's like mass paranoia. I think a lot of cities are going to have issues, especially depending on which candidate wins. It's going to get rough all over America. Sad times. And I do agree with that. It is sad times indeed, as we continue to try to go through and figure out everything that's going on surrounding the city of El Paso, the COVID measures, all of that good stuff, with like just trying to wrap our mind around it. And I feel like I've been harsh. I feel like I've been telling people like, hey, you got to take a look in the mirror. You got to blame yourselves. I've said it a bunch of times. Like, there are things that I could have done better as well, but I have done my best. And you can ask Andrew, like sanitizer, wearing my mask, those things are with me all the time. Who do we have on the phone line right now?
We got Augustine on the phone line.
All right, Augustine, what you got for us, buddy? Is he there?
Augustine, you there? There we are.
Now
now we can.
Yes, sir.
That what Judge Samaniego is doing is absolutely right. In Juarez, we did that about, I want to say about a week ago, as Punk mentioned. The thing is, here's the tough part. Balancing, and that is something Judge Samaniego said that is really incredibly important. That balancing that between economy and health. You don't have one without the other, and they're not mutually exclusive. So they depend on one another. So that is the fine line, and people care about both. The number one priority should be health, and seeing where all this is going, seeing where all this is at, is just really devastating for the entire region. And people saying that people are crossing over to El Paso, getting their health care from El Paso. I mean, most of the people that are crossing anyway are citizens of the United States and have health care insurance. So it's not like some national company stealing health care from anybody. So don't anybody think that. Regular people, regular citizens that live on it, that work in the United States, are just crossing over to get their health care. And one more thing, and I think you said it, Tipton, and I think you're right. Everybody does their best, but some people don't. And you said it about 2 weeks ago, that we're all going to the principal's office because of that one little kid who is just a menace to everybody. And that's what happened. So that's what happened. So if you see those people, making those parties and especially doing stuff that you know that you'd be doing, dial 311. I know everybody's like, I'm not a snitch, but at this point of time, we need to be snitches, because that's the only way we're going to get out of this. And one more thing, and I do apologize for one more thing. It feels incredible to me that some people are going on Twitter and saying that UTEP should play the game.
You had to get us back to that.
Source points, Augustine. Thanks.
Thank you so much, though, Augustine, for that phone call. Once again, Augustine is like, with his vast amount of faults, and trust me, they are plentiful and bountiful. He is a good person to have on our side whenever it comes to talking about, some of the stuff that surrounds the city of El Paso, the city of Juarez, and trying to figure out, as these two cities basically rely upon one another, what it is that they need to do in order to technically survive. So whenever Augustine comes on and he tells us, like, hey, this is something that they did last week in Juarez, why the hell didn't we? Once again, these cities are so reliant upon one another. that they kind of need to follow the same guideline continually. But nonetheless, we'll think about that stuff. He is 100% right, is Augustine, whenever it comes to talking about the principal's office that every single one of us are getting sent to right now.
Pretty much.
Because of the way that we've handled COVID-19. None of us have handled it to our best. Like Mike Rivera and I, we have gone out places and we have eaten, just he and I, but we will sit far away from other people. And that is the main thing that I think people need to realize is it's okay if you're going to go out. Well, I guess it was. You can't do it right now, or at least at midnight you won't be able to. But it was okay to go out in like a group of two and go have that meal and go support local like a lot of us have done. But going out there in those groups of like 6 or 7 or 8 or more than that was just completely reckless. And the people and the people that continue to do that, it's like what are you thinking about? And I get it, like you want to have your daughter's birthday party. You want to have your wife, your spouse, whoever it is, you want to have their birthday party. I completely understand that. But don't you think that they would like to have their grandmother around or their grandfather around? And that's going to be one of the things that people need to like take into consideration is the fact that you got to think about the other people. I saw, and it's funny how memes have become like a thing where you actually get like a sense of wisdom out of them. I saw a meme the other day that was basically saying, imagine if it was the younger generation, the people in their 20s and their 30s, that were the ones that were impacted most by this. Our parents and our grandparents would do everything possible for us to survive.
Right.
We have not afforded them that same courtesy. We have not afforded them that same, human instinct of we need to protect the people that are most susceptible to this. There are a lot of people that are high risk that you might not know about because they might have something that they don't know about right now. That's the stuff that people need to realize is a lot of us, me in particular, I'm one of these people. I refuse to go to hospitals. Like they scare me to death. It is a phobia that I have. I don't know what I might be able to have, but if I get COVID and it kills me, I'm leaving behind an 8-year-old and a 3-year-old. Think about that. If your grandma does pass away, if your grandfather passes away from something like this, and we know that there's those 6 degrees of separation that slowly started becoming 1, it is impacting people that you know. Imagine the children that are like, where's my grandma? Imagine the regret that goes around with people without being able to say goodbye. I was in Alaska whenever my mother passed away, if I can get personal on some stuff. I was in Alaska whenever she passed away. It is a huge regret of mine that I wasn't here as she passed away to say my goodbyes. Now, I don't know if she would have been able to hear me or not. I take solace in the fact that she was one of the people that helped push me to go to Alaska. But it is something that is heartbreaking where you cannot say goodbye. You got myriads of people now dying alone, dying without their family members because we have yet to get a grip on this. I know I've been harping a little bit. I haven't gotten Mike Rivera's input on this here just yet. Mike Rivera, as it was coming down, what kind of stood out to you?
And if you're just joining us right now, you're listening to an extended version of The Tipping Point on Fox Sports 13 Radio, Fox Sports 1380. The biggest thing to me was the judge said that he didn't come to this decision lightly. He wasn't going, yeehaw, I'm going to just do whatever. He actually had to consult a lot of folks right now. And obviously the big thing for him is he's still very interested in what the governor has to say. But I'm 100% with you. You and I have been out a couple of times around the town, and we've seen, for the most part, we've seen a lot of folks wear their masks and do the right thing, but we've also seen a lot of folks who were not doing the right thing. There are folks who have conspiracies. There's folks who say this. There's folks who say it's that. Here's the thing. It doesn't matter what conspiracy you believe in. The thing that's important to know is this disease is here. It is affecting us here in the borderland. We're stacked to the max in our hospitals. I don't know how that's a conspiracy anymore. That is a real fact. You can see that people are sick. You can see that people are dying. You see the numbers go up every day. I'm a little concerned myself. My wife has asthma, so that is a problem for COVID. I've got a heart condition, so that's something I worry about with COVID too. And with a 5-year-old and a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old, I am terrified of what could happen to them if I were to leave.
Could you do me a favor and turn down the monitor, please, sir?
Yeah, let's turn that down.
Yeah. Once again, the learning curves and stuff that we're talking about, and Mike Rivera is 100% correct. Like, you don't know. And let's be honest, like, none of us knows when that final day comes for any of us. But why tempt fate? Like why sit there and basically give the double birds like the NFL did to what this disease is actually doing?
Right.
We know that it is ravaging the communities of people of color. Like we know that there is a god awful gap of the people of color who are being impacted by this and dying, and the other group of people out there who are not getting it and dying or surviving and things of that nature. It's because, for the most part, those groups are in those essential jobs. There are nurses out there who are getting this disease and not able to do their job. Think about that. What happens whenever the medical professionals get the disease and aren't able to do their job? That's like the main factor that people need to look at now, is saying, okay, if you have people out of the hospitals, which are there to help take care of people, what happens next?
They have been working nonstop without a break. They have been bringing folks in from other parts of the country. But these folks, you want to talk about the folks who are the
Oh, yeah.
The nurses and frontline doctors who are in those wards every day in, day out, working the double, in some cases triple shift. And you're right, they are 100% being exposed every day. We've been lucky that the county has not had a shortage of PPE equipment, but that is always a concern with them. So again, a big shout out to our frontline workers. In fact, same thing to our police officers and our firefighters who are listening to the show right now, listening to the 1380. We certainly salute what you do.
Once again, a whole lot of stuff that has come through. Mike Rivera, if you may please unmute yourself.
To hear me on the mic.
Yes.
I know.
So we are up against the clock. Is it our normal clock? Like are we?
It is the normal clock. So yeah, we'll take a 3-minute.
Okay, so we're gonna take a quick break. Once again, we have an extended hour here of the tipping point on my tip to Fox Sports 1380. We're going over the issues here with COVID-19. If you want to get on the show, you want to be a part of the show, you can. 915-544-KTSN, 915-544-5876. That is the number to call. We'll keep it going, and hopefully you're here with us. More sports coming up next. Fox Sports 1380. Yes, Cody. Cody said I'm giving way more than just the tip of this issue.
No, and that's what we need to do. And Andrew is doing the updates right now, so hopefully we can get that out to the masses quick. Ugh. What a day!
Yeah.
What a day, folks.
It's been a fun one, to say the least. Can you go in there and talk real quick? I want to make sure that there's some audio coming through. Like, if you can hear me and I can hear you, then we'll be all right. I'm getting some issues saying that there's...
No, and I can hear you. I just have to keep the volume down.
Okay. And I can hear you now, too. So that's good. So there is audio there.
I'm just turning this up a little bit. There it is.
What about now? Are you able to hear me still?
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Well, literally nothing changed. I'm just wondering if, like, StreamYard's like, okay, I'm done with you guys. Get the hell off my airwaves.
Right. No, it's really been a fun day, and this is one of those things that you don't like to cover. You really don't want to cover it. You hope that you don't have to, but that's what we're here for. That's our job. But a lot of this is, how much of this is, folks, if we just did what we were supposed to do in the first hand, that's my big frustration with it. That's my big frustration. Is how much of this could have been prevented.
All of it. I mean, that's the way that I look at it. All of it could have been prevented.
Yeah. Well, we want to thank you all for joining us here on Fox Sports 1380 Live Local Talk Radio here in El Paso. And yeah, this is your sounding board. Get into the comments here below on the live stream here. And of course, you can always give us a call, 544 KTSM if you want to get in. As Tip would say, they stole our signal, so we stole their phone line. So it's one of my favorite. That's one of my favorite things. I love hearing you say that.
It's been a while.
It has been a minute.
Cody James Bachmeyer is asking, have these rules been made official? They are official as of midnight.
As of midnight, yes. The curfew that curfew, by the way, is still enacted as of 10 o'clock tonight. So basically the curfew is in effect from 10 to midnight, and then from midnight we go into the lockdown. Yeah.
I think Blanca's got the same feeling as a lot of us here, saying she needs a big bucket of ice cream and those oversized Valentine's chocolate bars right about now.
I am all about that.
I had like the big 1 pound Reese's peanut butter cups, and I never ate them because I just love the novelty of having that big of a Reese's peanut butter cup.
Oh.
And that's actually what I wanted. Like I'm gonna save this for tomorrow, so I'm not gonna say it right now because once we do that, then the show becomes the normal show, and I wanna give this conversation legs to do it. But once again, like if you do want to be a part of the show, you can 915-544 KSM 915-544-5876. Oh, with so much drama in the ELP.
Yes.
It's kind of hard being Mike T.I. double P.
I like that. There you go.
Freestyling for you.
Pretty good there, man.
It is the tipping point of my tipped and extended hour here. Thanks to Mike Rivera, who was gracious enough to allow us to do this here. Going over the odd couple. If you're looking for the odd couple, there's somewhere.
Look, the odd couple, great show, by the way. But right now, a lot's going on here in El Paso County. Ricardo Samaniego. And, we said this in the 5 o'clock hours, like, oh, boy, he's about to drop a bomb. And he did. So we're going into a lockdown effective midnight tonight. If you got an opinion on it, 544 KTSM. Of course, you can always join us on the live stream, too, there. And, Tip, this is just we knew it was coming. And, the question is it too late or is it too little too late, or are we doing what we need to be doing right?
I feel like that's been the underlying question here is it too little too late? As far as this disease goes, like, I don't know if you can ever say that it's too little too late with this disease because it's here. We've got to deal with it. We're going to do our thing. And hopefully, we handle it the way that we should going forward, where we're not complaining too much about the rules that are in place right now. Once again, these rules are here to basically save us from us. It's like the salary cap in the NFL that saves Jerry from Jerry.
Well, yes.
That's what these rules are in place for right now, is save us from ourselves. We have been so self-destructive that we have allowed this to happen, and it is currently just running rampant through our community right now.
And the thing, too, is a lot of folks are saying, this isn't going to solve anything. Well, here's the thing. And Andrew J. Polk said this on his show earlier today. What is happening now? We're not going to see the results of today's lockdown for another 2 weeks. Now, at the end of this lockdown, if stuff starts going down, then you say, you know what, maybe it did work. Or if it doesn't, well, it looks like we may have to extend it. Because right now, what is going on today, this is going to affect Thanksgiving. And I know and here's the thing, and you and I both know this because we're native El Pasoans, Thanksgiving is one of those holidays. Now we got to get everybody together. The tíos, the tías, the abuelos, abuelas, y todo. And what happens? Every time we do that, we hear another case of, oh, yeah, we had another 30 or 40 people get it just from a family gathering.
Well, what I'm trying to wrap my mind around is, like, what was the holiday that happened at the beginning of October that allowed this? Like was it Indigenous Peoples Day? Because it just seems like this all just blew up over this last month now.
Yes.
And it's insane, man.
You know what? I'm not blaming Indigenous Peoples Day. I'm blaming Columbus Day. So it's the Columbus Day. That's what it is. It's that fault.
See, I wanted to stay away from saying Columbus Day. Like, I know the trigger that is for some people.
So no, Indigenous Peoples Day good, Columbus Day bad. Columbus Day's fault. There you go.
Okay, so it's all Crystal Ball's fault.
That's what it is. That Italian.
Blanca saying, Mike, this is all important to talk about. Thank you for this, Mike and Mike. I wonder if there's a trademark on that show or if it's already expired.
I'm pretty sure it has, because what iteration of the show are they at now? I think they're like 3 or 4 hosts removed away from that.
I would say they're not even doing that anymore.
No.
It's something else. It's Keyshawn, Jay Will, and Snoop. There's no mics involved in that one.
Right.
But as we look and we power through what's going on here in the city of El Paso, I look at the financial impact of it. I know that there's a lot of people that wonder about the finances on this. The thing that terrifies me right now is the fact that we've gotten nothing done. The president basically came out and said any talks about a stimulus check aren't going to come through until after the election. My biggest question is let's say, and this is completely hypothetical, let's say that he does win the presidency. We know how he holds grudges.
Oh, he does. This is a guy who holds grudges like a kid. In fact, the thing that really bothers me, and I don't want to get political about this, but the one remark that gets me every time I hear it, we're rounding the turn. What turn are we rounding? We're rounding the turn right into the dumpster.
I think it's like whenever you first start working out and you're running around the track right there and you just got around that one turn and you're looking down that 100 yards and you're like, okay, well, I'm almost there.
No, you still got
you're mentally trying to tell yourself okay, you're lying to yourself.
I mean, you still got turns 2, 3, and 4 to go. Sorry, buddy, it doesn't work that way.
Oh man, that's the worst. As a kid, I used to love running. Then I got old and fat, and it's like,
no, fat guys don't run. We don't run.
Well, prior to me, hurting my leg and my back and or my foot and my back, man, I was putting in 3 hours or 3 miles a day of running. I was actually doing that.
Yeah.
And then I hurt my foot, and I was like, oh, well, maybe I'm too fat to run. And then that doctor who told me that radio was dead, hopefully she's listening right now, also said, hey, you're too fat to run. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I didn't know that was a thing.
There's no such thing as being too fat to run.
I guess if you're 400 pounds, the muscles.
I mean, if you're Sherman Klump, that's one thing.
If you're a Sherman Tank, it's another.
Yeah, that's another. I mean, look, Joe Sperdy, I can't run like that. If you're that guy, that's one thing. I mean, and there's no magic bottle that's going to make you skinny. I tell you that. No,
I've tried. I guess lipo would be the next.
I love that movie, by the way.
Oh yeah, anytime you can get a Klump reference, I'm about it. Well, once again, to kind of go over some of the stuff that's been laid out there today, the shutdown taking effect tonight at midnight.
Yes.
That is going to be shutting down for 2 weeks all non-essential businesses and in-person dining. So restaurants are still able to have their drive-through stuff.
Yeah.
Stephen Puga, I don't know if this is confirmed yet. If you can look this up for me, Mike Rivera saying that Clemson's quarterback Trevor Lawrence has tested positive for COVID-19.
I mean, we can look that up, but that's kind of not where we're going right now with the show. But
let me
find that out for you.
But that is something interesting because, we are seeing nationwide the numbers go up. The Houston Texans had to stop, had to shut down their practice facility. Lucky for them, they're on the end of a bye week, or going into a bye week. So their facility has been shut down. We saw Justin Turner of the LA Dodgers in the 8th inning of the Game 6 of the World Series get taken out of that game, tested positive for COVID-19. And this is something I wanted to talk about today, so maybe I'll do it right now.
And yeah, I can confirm that he has tested positive.
So he has, in fact, tested positive with COVID-19, has Trevor Lawrence.
Yes.
Justin Turner found, or MLB found out that Justin Turner actually tested positive for COVID-19 in the 2nd inning. But because of the collective bargaining agreement that they had with Major League Baseball players, they had to work around the red tape to pull him out of the game.
And it took them 4 innings to do it. Six
innings, from the 2nd inning to the 8th inning to take him out of the game. Major League Baseball actually was very, very upset with what it was that Turner did, because after the game, he was seen out there celebrating like he was kissing his wife. You can see how uncomfortable she was as he was kissing her after he tested positive for COVID-19.
It was that uneasy smile on all their faces. And you know what? Lou Romano last night on CBS 4 said that he deserves a $1 million fine for that.
It'll be much more substantial than that. I don't know if Sweet Lou realizes this, but $1 million to a Major League Baseball player ain't much.
Oh, don't do that again. That's just like that slap on the wrist.
I would say it would have to be something like a 10% of what their overall salary was. And for someone like him making $64 million, his contract ended whenever that game ended.
Right.
hey, you got to pay that money up. But this is what came out from Major League Baseball saying, quote, immediately upon receiving notice from the laboratory of a positive test, protocols were triggered, leading to the removal of Justin Turner from last night's game. Turner was placed into isolation for the safety of those around him. However, following the Dodgers' victory, it's clear that Turner chose to disregard the agreed-upon joint protocols and the instruction he was given regarding the safety and precaution of others. While a desire to celebrate is understandable, Turner's decision to contact with at risk or to leave isolation and enter the field was wrong and put everyone he came in contact with at risk. When MLB security raised the matter of being on the field with Turner, he emphatically refused to comply. There are talks out there of him getting suspended for an extended period amount of time.
As he should. And by the way, Blanca asking if they made any mentions on elective surgeries. The county judge didn't make that clear, Blanca, but we're going to try to find that out here in the next couple of days for you. Obviously, that information will come out.
I'm very positive, like elective surgery isn't like something that you need. You know what I mean? Yeah, so
we'll check into that.
But I mean, unfortunately, like for people with like LASIK stuff like that, that's got to be put on the back burner for now. But like, as much I have people that like I have friends that are in that industry. That's where they make their bread and butter.
Right.
Hard for me to say stuff like that, but all of that needs to go on the end. If they told me, hey, you can't go in, like you can't do your show, we're just gonna have the couple play over you for the entirety of their show, I would bite that bullet. I would also probably just stream because I have that ability now. But I wouldn't be able to talk to the people on the radio like I'm doing right now, which was my dream a long time ago and still is. We all have to make those sacrifices. We all have to make those personal sacrifices when it comes to dealing with COVID-19 and everything that we're dealing with right now.
By the way, we're coming up at the bottom of the hour, so let's go ahead and give you guys a recap of what's going on. Judge Ricardo Samaniego issuing County Order number 13, which is instating a lockdown to take place at midnight tonight. Non-essential businesses, including tattoo parlors, hair salons, nail salons, gyms, massage businesses, in-person dining will be closed down. Restaurants will be going back to delivery, carry-out, and takeout only. The one thing that is interesting about this order, polling sites will be allowed to remain open. That is considered an essential service to vote. Schools providing meal services, so check with your local ISD wherever you're at here in the county. Child care facilities, grocery stores, funeral services also allowed to remain open. All healthcare offices and facilities, again, we're trying to clarify elective surgeries there for you. Pharmacies, government operations, post offices, and retail to-go services in that order. You're listening to Fox Sports 1380's extended coverage of the tipping point with Mike Tipton.
Oh, I thought you were going to go to break right there.
No. You like that, though?
That was good. I think, like, had it not been awkward for that little bit of silence there, like, it would have been perfect, but let's just go to break now.
Yeah, let's go ahead and take that break.
Fox Sports 1380.
Long ago, and before I was here in El Paso working for KHA, I did do news radio for a couple of years in San Antonio, so it's kind of that awkward thing. And that was one of the reasons I came here, Tip. I got tired of covering news down in San Antonio. It's blood and guts down there. It's shootings at the I covered 3 shootings down there. I've covered the pipe bomber in Austin. So it's like, come to El Paso. It's quiet. It'll be nice, they said. Then August 3rd happened.
So maybe this is all your fault.
Yeah.
It's all your fault. I'm just putting it right there. It's all your fault.
Let me figure out why this thing's not working. There it is. Let me turn the volume up. That helps.
Yeah, like we're going to have to find that nice little, like, perfect area for the volume. That's why I have the headphones on.
No, but so all you all watching on the live stream, Tip says it too. We appreciate having you here. We appreciate having you on the air. This is what it's all about, folks. Live local talk radio, El Paso style. That's how we do it here. Of course, I love how I have Optimus Prime here. I'm trying to be serious doing a news read, and I realized Optimus Prime is right behind me. That's just great.
So of all the shows to try to be like serious, we had to try to be those ones.
Yes.
Like I decided, let's do another hour. You allowed it to happen, and then we have to realize what our surroundings are behind us, as we're basically like the petting zoo of this radio department.
Pretty much. I like Andrew's screen here. I can't find anything on this thing.
Yeah, he's got it all over the place, man. It's a nightmare whenever he doesn't log out and I have to remote into there. Blanca said that she appreciates us giving up the giving them the extra hour.
No, and honestly, that's the thing too. We want you to rant. This is the forum to do it. You know, I don't want to steal the name of his show, but this is the Talk El Paso moment right here. You guys come to us, blow off some steam. That's what we're here for. We're here for you. If you want to do it on the air, you can do it on the stream here, or again, we got a phone number here. Look at this. Got a nice little phone here. 544 KTSM.
We have plenty of phone line.
One line, yes, we have one working phone line. That's the best part about the whole thing. So,
how long is it going to be? Like, how much more do I have to complain to them for them to give me more than one phone line?
I'm working on that. It's partially my fault too, but you know.
What people don't realize is that whenever I do my complaining, Mike Rivera gets the brunt of it.
Pretty much. And then the first thing I do is I turn around and I take it up to my bosses. But no, this is what it's all about, folks. And we're glad to have you along for the ride tonight. Oh, what's that?
Do we have anything on air?
There we go.
Okay.
Let's try that. I like that. It's the iHeart Sports update here for the upteenth time Buffalo Bills. What is it?
How have they not gotten this fixed yet, man?
We'll fix that too. So I kind of a bad look to make fun of our own thing on the air here, but
well, luckily it's not on air; it's on the stream. And you almost knocked Hawk down, man.
I know. Here's the thing: I don't know how, but every studio I walk into, Andrew J. Polk has a pair of headphones.
He's got a lot of headphones, man.
You know, we all have our weird quirks. I think that's his. Just has to have his headphones.
An exorbitant amount of headphones. An absurd amount of headphones.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about that on the air here. Not you.
It is the tipping point of my Tipton Fox Sports 1380. I've said this a million times. We're the worst at reading the room. I love the fact that Shoop is the song that brings us in as we're talking about COVID-19.
Death and destruction, but here we go. We got TLC. I'm sorry, Salt
and Pepper. Come on, man.
Gosh.
Oh, party foul, not knowing Salt and Pepper.
Yeah.
Although one of my favorite Salt and Pepper songs.
Shoop.
Oh, yeah.
I like Push It.
Push It. Yeah. That's definitely up there on the list. Once again, the tipping point of my Tipton Fox Sports 1380. We know you're looking for the odd couple if you're out there in radio land. We took an extra hour to kind of address everything that's going on here with COVID-19. So trust me, 7 o'clock, you'll be back with whoever it is that you want to listen to, Chris Broussard and so and such. However, these are very important topics that we are talking about today with the new restrictions and everything going on as Optimus Prime almost fell.
Yeah, I'm trying to fix it.
No, I got it. Don't worry. It's okay. Optimus Prime will be okay as he's behind you. We're making the joke during the break that this is arguably the worst show for breaking news like this to come out on.
It really is. But, you know, the fun thing about sports talk radio is most of us aren't that far away from our news background. So we could, you know, if we need to, we can always go back into news mode immediately here on Fox Sports 1380. But, you know, the other thing I was joking about was Andrew's headphones. They're all over the place.
I don't understand how or like where he got so many headphones.
He's got like an infinite supply. It's like he's marking his territory with these.
And this is the funny thing about it too. Is like he's got all those headphones, but he still comes in here and uses my guest headphones. I have multiple guest headphones, and he comes in here and uses mine, despite having his just littered around as though he like won the lottery and threw them up in the air and was making it rain headphones.
Maybe he's worried about the germs. That's what it is.
Also, as we were privy to by our friend Stephen Michael Puga, letting us know about the issues with Trevor Lawrence. He has tested positive for COVID-19.
Yeah, big thing.
The Houston Texans have a couple of people that tested positive for COVID-19, so they shut down their facilities. They're getting all that stuff cleaned up. What the hell are we doing, man? Major League Baseball literally just avoided disaster by the Tampa Bay Rays not winning that game. All these UTEP fans were out there wanting UTEP to play this game against North Texas, and some of them still were like, hey, I don't care what's going on, play the game. I got to be entertained. What the hell are we doing?
And the thing is, the fact that UTEP even recognized that earlier in the week before the game got canceled, that, hey, maybe having fans in the stands in the middle of a major surge that is being watched by, I mean, pick a network. ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox, MSNBC, whatever. Take your network. They're all looking at us right now. El Paso, once again, has found itself in a spotlight we don't want to be in because we can't seem to get our S together. And that's part of it.
Do you just want to take this segment up to 56 or whatever it is that we would have to get out on?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, so we'll just extend this so we don't have
all the way
to
to the
break.
end.
Okay. So what we're doing, right, like I said, with this extra segment here, is we're kind of giving y'all the ability to voice whatever it is that you feel about this. And there are all comers welcome here. Like if you do disagree with everything that's going on, please, by all means, send it over our way.
Come at us.
I'm perfectly fine because I want that discussion to be out there so that way we can understand where each one is coming from. Whenever you talk about like an infringement on rights with all the restrictions going on with COVID-19, I don't I personally don't see it. And I get tired of people whenever they say the things that they said, I said, come at us. There's a lot of stuff that I say weird. Everything I say sounds sexual. But like just literally
Your whole nature of existence is a quadruple entendre.
And I love the fact that I'm the only person that can refer to himself in the fourth person.
I don't even know how that's physically possible.
Just the tip.
I like that.
There it is. There's an ambiance that surrounds me. It's an orange ambiance as I do that. So, but once again, if you disagree with what it is that we say, because I believe that you, I, and Andrew are in unison here. We kind of like these preventative measures. Like, I feel like they're a little light. Personally, for myself, 2 weeks doesn't seem like enough time. I feel like it should be damn near a full month, at least 4 weeks. You know what I mean? Like it should be.
There's other nations
out there.
France is locked down for a month. There's other countries that are doing it for longer than we are.
Nobody is infringing on any rights here whatsoever. Whenever you look at the stuff that's surrounding, COVID-19, the impact that it's having here in the city of El Paso. We are once again joined by the beautiful Andrew J. Polk. Andrew, you have taken a little while now to kind of let this all sink in. What are your thoughts?
So on all of this, this is actually looking a little bit more at it. I think it was a little inaccurate earlier that this is very different than what we've had in place before. This is very similar to what we had in place back during the first initial response. What might be the difference here, though, coming in might be the enforcement aspect. There was actually a question right now as I was recording a news update to then go out to all of our radio stations here about the situation. That news conference is still going on, by the way. Yeah, it's still going and still questions coming in. And a question was asked about enforcement. And that's something that both County Judge Ricardo Samaniego said at the beginning of the news conference and reiterated here that, hey, having checked with legal advice, checked the precedents so far, and looked at the governor's current orders, the ones that are currently in place, he believes that as long as there's not, the governor says that you can't do this anymore, he believes that this is within the scope of previous orders from the governor, and that if so, this can be more enforceable, fines, fees, and such.
Now, this is a question I think is going to be a loaded question. I'm going to pose it to both of you right here, and you can answer at your leisure. Whenever the first stuff came up, all of the issues of, like, we're going to lock down, if we see you doing this, you're going to get fined, etc. Do you feel like they were actually doing it? Because, like, they gave us a whole bunch of numbers, and there was, like, a bunch of warnings and all that good nonsense.
Right.
I've been warned a lot. Like I've had a few talking tos here and there. You know what I mean? I don't take any of them seriously because that's just who the hell I am. Do you feel like that? Do you feel like that enforcement was actually there at the beginning? Because I feel like it wasn't.
No,
it wasn't particularly. I think that there were. I think the actual number of citations number in the dozens, if much more than that. They said that there were hundreds of warnings, and I think the last I actually heard from the city was 140. Citations, I think, if remembering that correctly, but that's just from the city side of things. So I think that it's been not necessarily, given the situation that we're in, that people clearly haven't been doing what it is. And I know there's been a lot of talk on our other programs as well about that. Well, this is coming from us, and I don't think that is totally borne out either. The point is that we have a threat happening here, even besides what's happening in the hospitals. People here are getting it. It's not all coming across the border. It's not all coming from other spaces. Everything points to those being fairly low compared to the whole number. So it's people here who have not been doing it, and if it's really been at this level that it's been at, But people get, based on the spread here, and the fact that all the cases, we do know this from DeMargo when he spoke 2 weeks ago now, that it was about like mid to high 30% of these spreads happened at stores. And then another 20% happened at restaurants, 20 and change. So a lot of that means that there's probably a lot of people who may not have been taking proper measures or doing what they were supposed to.
And that was one of the things that I wanted to mention as well, was the fact that there's been multiple times that like people have gone out. Like I've admitted to it a bunch of times. I have not been shy about this at all. I have gone out and I've had lunches with people, and I don't think I've had a dinner in quite some time, but like Rivera and I will go.
We've gone on occasion, yes.
But we will go as a small group of 2. Right. Well, you'll see a lot of other groups out there like 5, 6, 7, 8, and I feel like those are the ones that are causing like the biggest issue, because how do you socially distance with that? And I know that people have an issue with the terminology of socially distance and all that nonsense.
Yeah.
But I will ask this: like, if that phrasing is the one thing that you get upset about, if it's like words and all that stuff that you get upset about when it comes to the infringements on your rights and all that stuff, why not just do it for yourself? Because none of us want to get this. None of us want to risk being asymptomatic.
Yeah.
And have to deal with any of this stuff, because I don't know how any of us would deal with it.
One of the things that really kind of gets to me are the folks who say, I'm an American, I'm free to do whatever I want. And that is true to a point. We do live in a nation that affords us a lot of personal freedom. However, with freedom, I hate to sound like the Spider-Man guy. With great freedom comes great responsibility.
I knew you were going there
but
too.
The thing of it is your freedoms and my freedoms end when I cause infringement on other people's freedoms, the other people's freedoms to stay well. If I'm going to go out there and say, well, I can do whatever I want, and I end up spreading COVID to 20 people, that kind of puts me at fault.
Yeah, and there has to be that personal responsibility.
That's what it is.
That people need to take with that.
Right.
It's the same thing with like drinking and driving. You know what I mean? Like maybe
I can drink whatever I want.
Exactly, and that's what it comes down to. Like it's preventable.
Yes.
All of that stuff preventable. Going out and spreading COVID preventable. It's not a hard thing to wrap your mind around, of just being a damn decent person.
We are a nation that enjoys our rights. We don't like it when when we perceive that something is being taken away from us, like with a lockdown. But in reality, are we really getting stuff taken away from us? No. We're being inconvenienced. That's what it is.
Whenever you look at it, what comes first in the Declaration of Independence? It's life, then liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Right.
So that's the main thing, is life, like life in general, like being able to live and then have your freedoms. That is the most important thing here.
Yes.
People have their freedom to basically breathe. And whenever you're not out there doing your part, you are basically at fault of taking people's lives away from them. Like when are people going to realize that? Like has there ever been that come to God moment with any of these people who have maybe themselves sent, COVID-19, like they were asymptomatic, but somebody around them got COVID-19 and passed away? Has that come to life moment ever happened with these people? Because it feels like it hasn't.
And the thing is, there are people out there who have lost loved ones, but the mindset is so set. And the folks who are above us, I won't mention names, but there are folks above us who just set that bad example of, look, I got it because I had to get it for you, just to show you that it's not bad, when in truth, it really is.
Well, once again, and if you don't want to mention that individual's name, I will. Donald Trump doesn't get like he gets a little better care than what you and I are going to get.
We're not going to get 14 doctors. We're lucky if we get one nurse.
Now, granted, I will say that you and I are huge celebrities, but he's going to be able to get more like resources thrown his way than what it is that you and I and the basic individual out there is going to be.
Right.
Look at what it was that was around him 24/7 in order to ensure his survival, because he is, like it or not, the leader of the free world right now. His survival was paramount.
Yes.
God, it would have been awful under Mike Pence, but that's a different subject for another time.
Yeah, well.
You can't sit out there and be like, yeah, I'm about to get fired for that. You can't sit there and be like, oh, okay, well, look how quickly I was able to get, through it with all the doctors and all the uncertainty that was surrounding me as I was in the hospital, because, they just take people to the hospital for that, for no reason whatsoever. You can't compare that to the average person.
Meanwhile, the mayor of Juarez is still sitting in the ward right now. He's now going on week
He's still
2.
there?
He's still there.
Yeah, he's been sending videos saying, "Please take this seriously." I think he's expected to recover. Hopefully, he can still recover at this point. But
And
he's still very much in the hospital.
Our friend Blanca saying that she ordered delivery, and the driver said, "Thank you for ordering. You are how I'm paying bills right now."
yeah,
And that's going to be the thing right now too. Is like those drivers out there. Whenever you do order, because those are going to be services that are still available. Like don't be selfish and think like, oh, okay, well, I can't eat in the restaurant. I'm cutting this all off. I can't eat at the restaurant.
and do us a favor, tip them a little extra, because they're
Have to be
going door to door.
Yeah, if you can. Like I understand people having a little more frugality right now, like not wanting to just give out a whole bunch
If
of
you
money.
can.
Yeah, if you have the ability to. Once again, we are blessed. I have said that a multitude of times during this pandemic, going back to March, how blessed we are that we get to come in here. We still get to do our jobs. I bought a house in the middle of this thing, man. Like not very many people are able to say that type of stuff. But with that also comes the fact of knowing what our responsibilities are. Like, we just can't go out and be a whole bunch of a-holes, man.
We've got to take this seriously.
Absolutely.
We've got to get. I mean, here's the thing. It's almost like when you're at home. It's like, look, and if you've never been broke or if you've never been dirt ass poor, pardon my French there, but you know when you've got to hunker down in survival mode. And this is that moment. You have got to take care of yourself. You've got to realize that, look, I got to hunker down. Look, we're all going to be inconvenienced. All of us. Nobody's not being inconvenienced by this. We've got to take care of ourselves. We've got to get through this so we can have a Thanksgiving. So dare I say it, we can have a Christmas.
And that's like the main thing now is like, okay, we acted an ass all the way through the summer.
Right.
We saw these eventual growths. Now what's today? Day number 23, consecutive days of us breaking our record of active COVID cases.
Yeah.
So here we go. We acted an ass during that time. It's time for us to say, okay, if we want to actually do this, we want to have a good Thanksgiving, we want to have an actual Christmas, then by all means, man, like we've got to do our part and make sure that we're doing our part. No one's asking you to do anything like different. Andrew, have you asked anybody at any certain point in time, get rid of all your rights? Because I don't think any of us have done that.
Absolutely not.
All we've said is, hey, don't be a jerk. Wear a mask. It's inconvenient. You know how bad it is for me with like all this facial hair to wear a mask and not have like it gets pulled up. Yeah. But like it gets annoying, man. But I still do it.
And you know what? The best part about a mask, if you're one of those folks who's anti-government, anti-conspiracy, or whatever conspiracy, wear a mask that says that. Wear your belief out there. Show that you're upset about it, but just wear the dang mask.
You look like you wanted to say something, Andrew.
I mean, I get masked me pretty bad. I'll admit to it for here. And we had someone bring up the point that we've had a couple hundred, or at least 100, El Paso police officers get it, saying it's always wearing masks. But it's kind of like a raincoat in the rain. Like, sure, it's going to get most of it, but with enough exposure, some's going to get through. And those guys and gals out there working for that have definitely had some of the most exposure, along with medical crews. That's why we've seen such a toll within medical crews. So yes, for you and me, it's going to work, even though there might be something more needed there. So again, the 4 simple tips: wash your hands, don't touch your face, stay home if you're sick, and wear a mask.
Mike Rivera, real quick, as I'm sure you have it up in front of you, let us know as we wind down the show here.
Yeah.
The lockdown order taking place at midnight, that includes what?
In fact, I'll let Andrew answer this too. Mm-hmm. Go ahead there, sir.
So this specifically is ordering the shutdown of all non-essential businesses, specifically listed as tattoo parlors, hair salons, nail salons, gyms, massage businesses, and in-person dining.
You don't need any of this stuff, too. You can do without it for a little while. It's going to be all right.
I haven't done in-person dining for a while now, personally, because the one time I tried to, that place got shut down in the next week subsequent because a server ended up having it.
We all know Robert Kraft ain't going to a massage parlor anytime soon either.
Yeah, you don't need the rub and tug that bad.
No, you don't need it that bad.
So then these are the ones that are specifically listed, but this is not an exhaustive list of essential locations or businesses, including polling sites, voting is still considered an essential activity. And if you want to find information about polling sites, locations, or even emergency ballots, if you're one of those people who have ended up in the hospital, epcountyvotes.com. Even for like election day transportation to get there, there might be adjusted, but those are still on as far as I'm aware. But so other essential sites, schools that provide meal services, childcare facilities, grocery stores, funeral services, all healthcare offices and facilities, pharmacies, government operations, post offices, retail to-go services, and there will be more that will be coming out here when the county puts out the full release from this order.
Again, grocery stores, all that stuff going to be open. The best thing about doing that, just send one person. That's all you need. You don't need to be taking the whole family. That was one of the things that annoyed me the most whenever the first lockdown order came through. Can't even really say that with the first one. There were a lot of people taking their entire families out there. We heard from a listener earlier today, Ceci, basically saying, hey, don't go hang out at the stores. That was one of the annoying things that we did witness early on in the pandemic, was people just hanging out at Target just because they could hang out at Target.
Right.
Mike Rivera, thank you so much for allowing us to be able to do this, the extended version here of the tipping point of my tip. And I could have called it the other thing, but I'm not going to do that right now because we're being serious.
Also, note on that, I've been hearing that the Walmarts are getting mobbed right now. So remember, grocery stores still open.
No need to go out there and panic buy, folks.
No panic buying. Out of all the things out there, please do not panic buy. That is the absolute worst thing you can do.
Don't be a stupido.
Oh my Lord, I am worried, but I am glad that I went and actually bought supplies this past weekend. So I'm feeling happy right now. Plus, I have still yet to get through all the toilet paper I told you all I bought at the beginning of March, just because I knew I was moving. Everyone, thank you so much for dealing with us here on the tipping point of my tip and Fox Sports 1380. The Odd Couple coming up next. Bye-bye, everybody. Most importantly, be safe. Just be safe.